Hello, everyone. Welcome to Healthcare Finance in the summer of 2021. My name is Chris Gibbons. I'm your instructor for this course for the remaining 6 weeks, 7-week course. You probably noticed some changes right off the bat for this week. The landing page used to be that static landing page for last week, kind of the basics about the course. I've removed that. There's really not a lot of information on there other than the basics. Removed that. The syllabus link is on there, but you can still find the syllabus in the syllabus link on the navigation page. So you can still find that if you didn't print it out. I recommend you print it out. It's always nice to have a hard copy of this thing. Yeah, so we're going to have this new news and information page rather than that page going forward in this course as your landing page. So what that means is when you log into the course, this is the first thing you're going to see. How do you use this news and information page? Well, if I have any videos like this one that I've posted in there, you want to make sure that you watch those video updates. I usually do a video update on Monday or Tuesday of every week. The format is pretty much the same for every week. Talk about whatever problems, questions, situations we had last week, talk about the new assignments this week, and then also maybe a little look forward or anything, down the road, a quick, mention about that. So they'll usually follow that format going through. With this being the first video of the series, I guess if you will, it's going to be a little bit longer, so bear with me here. I want to talk a little bit big picture about this course. Then I do want to backtrack and hit what we did last week, and then also talk about what we're doing this week. And we do have some changes for the course already, so stay tuned on some of those changes that are already happening to the course. So let's talk about big picture first of all, what this course is, what it isn't, how to keep your sanity through it, how to get an A. We all want to get an A, right? Okay, well, let me tell you right now, it is very achievable for you to get an A. And we'll talk about how to do that, even if you hate math and any of the finance pieces. But for those of you that have my accounting class, you know that it is possible to not be so good with numbers, but yet still do very well in the class. All right, so let's talk about what this course is all about. It's about corporate finance. It's about making these big decisions, well, big and small, decisions that you're going to make as an entry-level, mid-level, senior-level manager. What this course is not going to do is make you a CFO. You're not going to be well, maybe someday, but you're not going to be a CFO just with this course. But with this course, you're going to understand some of those moves that the CFO is making. You're going to understand the moves that your company or organization is making. Why did we do that merger? Why did we sell that business unit? Why can't we get XYZ equipment? You're going to understand what that is. And in healthcare, this is the thing that we kind of run up against. We run up against caring for others. And then we run up against the numbers, money, the bean counters. Okay, unfortunately, you cannot take the two apart. They're interwoven, and I would argue that every decision made in a healthcare organization, that really almost any decision made in any kind of business enterprise, okay, whether you're for profit or not for profit. Don't let that throw you, okay? Because not-for-profits have to make money. Absolutely have to make money. If they don't make money, they don't exist. They just treat the money they make, they treat it a little bit differently than for-profits do. But other than that, they operate exactly the same. So all of these entities have these financial concerns, and I would argue that I can't think of really any decision that's made that doesn't have either a huge financial component to it, if not the sole decision for that question that you're researching is financially driven. So I'll give you an example. So I was talking to a student in our graduate program, and she's working on increasing employee satisfaction. Sounds great, right? I want to be a satisfied and happy employee. Everybody wants to be happy and go to work, right? It seems like it's the right thing to do from a moral perspective. But is that why we're making that? Is that why we care about, employee, satisfaction? Well, maybe, but probably the real reason we care about employee satisfaction is we don't want employee turnover. Employee turnover is very expensive. Recruiting new employees, advertising, interviewing, training them, getting them up to speed. There's a tremendous amount of money involved in that to do that. Also, a more seasoned employee is a more productive employee, typically. So the longer they work there, the quicker, the more efficient that they can be. So all of these factors, factor into why do we want employees to be satisfied? Yeah, it feels good that they're happy to work here, but that's not the only reason. They not say that the big reason is driven by, especially if we're going to involve spending money to increase employee satisfaction, we have to justify that expense. And sometimes it's not just to make us feel good. There has to be a quantifiable reason that we do these things. So you have a happy employee that reduces turnover, right? But a happy employee, it's been proven. They've done studies on this. Happy employees provide better care to patients. They can, you have less errors involved. You have higher engagement and enrichment in the employee than who can feed that back to a patient. So you have happier patients, better outcomes, happier customers, whatever you want to call them, right? Well, why do you want happier patients and customers? Well, because then they can refer people and come back, right? I've seen it, and you've probably seen it as well in your own personal life. Maybe you got a new doctor, and you're like, oh, no, that guy's horrible. Move on. You move on to the next one. And we've seen it in the business, where someone will say, I had a very bad experience in MRI or CT. The technologist was rude to me. I'm never coming back. There's other places you can get your MRI and CT scan in town. So these things are very important. And I would say just for the next, well, actually for the rest of your career, look at every decision that's going on. And there's a money component to it, a financial component. And rather than fight it, I guess if you don't want to embrace it, that's okay, but understand it. Because it can be very important for you understanding it from a professional standpoint, from your organization standpoint, while they're doing things and decisions that you'll be making as managers. But also, even if that part doesn't interest you, your own self-interest, I think it helps. You can, understanding, the bigger picture of the organization you work for. Maybe they're not doing so well financially, and you're able to now read that information and go, geez, I don't know if this place is going to be around that much longer. Do I want to invest my 10, 15-year career or whatever in this particular organization? Or do I want to go to a more robust organization who's going to have more opportunities for me to grow, advance, grow in my professional area? So you could even use this information from this course to guide your own career. All right, as you can see, I kind of dig this stuff because I really think it is, when you look at any decision made, even in your personal family lives too, there's so much of it that's financially driven, whether we like it or not, it's there. So don't fight it, just try to understand it. If not, maybe embrace it a little bit, use it to your advantage. What this course is not, it's not a personal finance course. So there's always a group of students that say, hey, I want to learn about 401ks, or we're going to learn about investments and stock markets. No. We're going to learn a little bit about stock markets and stocks and bonds, but from a corporate perspective. So this is corporate finance. There's two different worlds. There's like corporate finance and there's personal finance. This is all corporate business-oriented finance. If you're interested in personal finance, we do have a course in that. I run that usually a couple times a year. It's only 1 credit hour, but students really love it. So if you ever need 1 credit hour, look for that course. I don't know. I think I might be running it this fall, but Usually run that twice a year, but that's personal finance. So it's personal finance for healthcare professionals. So we kind of skew it to all of you who are healthcare professionals. All right, so there's big picture about the course. Again, the course, there's going to be some mathy components to the course. Don't let that freak you out. Again, for those of you that had me for accounting will know that you could still get an A in the course and not have one correct answer. So, I know a lot of you have math phobia when it comes, anything with numbers can really rock the boat, if you will. So rest assured, you can get an A in this course. Okay? You can get an A in this course and not have one correct math answer. But you got to do everything else. Okay, you can't miss an assignment or anything like that. So, but it's definitely doable with a comfortable margin. Again, as long as you're doing everything in the course. I think we all want to get an A, right? This course, very doable getting an A. The secret is apply yourself, do what you can. Don't let any assignment have a 0 grade. The 0 grade assignments, that's the killer. That brings the A's to a B's or B's to C's if you're just missing large, big assignments. So make sure don't get those in. Also, if you're having any difficulty in the course, you're something going on in the week, something surprised you, and you can't get an assignment in on time, I'm very forgiving with dates. There's going to be a small haircut in some cases for late assignments, small deduction on points, but definitely worth it for you to get in. And just let me know, hey, Chris, I'm going to be late on this particular assignment. Just so when I'm going in the grade box, in grading stuff, if I see, okay, that's cool. If I do see a missing assignment, I usually give students a 1-point grade, just as like an attention thing, like, hey, what's going on? Okay, here it is, Chris. All right, cool, and we'll be all set with that. But again, just communicate with me if you need anything or if you need an extension on due dates. I really don't get too twisted up on that. I just don't want you to get too far behind because this is such a compressed course. It is only 7 weeks. Things go very, very fast. So, you don't want to do that too often or you're going to get in trouble. There's no way you get everything done in time. So, but as long as we meet the course objectives and we have some flexibility on our travels to meet those course objectives, I'm totally good with that. So, all right, so there's that little spiel there. I will make sure I'll talk about that as we go on future videos too and remind you. I might remind you about that. All right, so we've talked big picture about the course, the math phobia issue. All right, let's jump into last week. Okay, so last week we had our first kind of mathy assignment in there, and I was getting some text messages because it says show your work. But yet you show me a calculator online in many cases. And you're going to find that we're going to use about, I don't know, maybe 3 to 4 different calculators throughout the course. All online, God forbid they don't take the links down, but they're freebies, really nice little calculators. You might find the one that you like the best and maybe mark it. Some do different things better than others, so cash flows or time value of money. So we'll kind of be bouncing back and forth on things that I found on the internet that kind of work without buying expensive, financial calculators or having you get a special app for your phone. You can do that, but I think these online calculators are just fine for what we're doing. But you're going to notice it says show your work. Screenshot it. That's all you need to do. So in some cases, you'll plug in 3 or 4 numbers, hit enter. And screenshot that. Just screenshot what you plugged, your final solution, and you'll be fine there. And screenshot that, and if you can, please put that in a Word document. So take that JPEG and drop it into a Word document. It just makes grading it a little bit easier for me, actually a lot bit easier than grading 6 JPEGs that you uploaded. So if you could just drop them into a Word doc, makes things super, super easy. All right. And there's very little need to do things by hand. There's always a group of students, for whatever reasons, they do things by hand. I don't know. They're maybe not watching the videos. I have no idea. because we do, I'm trying to think, don't hold me to this, but I don't think we do like anything by hand really. Everything we're going to use calculators for. So there might be a little demonstration with hand stuff, and we might have a couple maybe on distributions, but other than that, everything is going to have a nice little easy calculator, so you don't have to spend a ton of time. But every semester, someone has done it by hand, and I could tell they spent hours on it, versus a calculator, which would literally take you like 3 minutes to do. So use the calculator, screenshot your work, drop it in a Word document, make sure I know what number that's to, whatever we're doing, 9.6 or whatever, and that's how you get full points, or nearly full points, for that assignment, even if your answer is incorrect. Okay, so there's that. All right, so that's kind of last week. Got some questions about how to show your work, screenshots. Here's another big announcement, if you will. So hopefully you've waited to this 15-minute mark to hear this. So I had a group of students like Sunday and then this morning, I'm shooting this on Monday, reach out to me and say that they thought the class was opening today. So there is a little bit of confusion here, and it's, I guess, justified. It's totally justified. So the college is moving to 15-week semesters. The soft rollout, if you will, of the 15-week semesters is happening this semester. What I mean by that is that it's kind of a weird blend between the old and the new. In the fall, what we have been told is that we are going to be fully on the 15 semester schedule. So, and what the nice part about that is, as of right now, knock on wood, okay, that there's going to be a break in between your classes, a 1 week break between the first class and the second class. Again, that's what we are planning and anticipating. This summer, though, we never anticipated that. We knew that we were going to 7-week courses, but with no break in between. But folks like, okay, hey, there's this new 7-week, there's a break in between. They thought there was a break. So they show up this morning and they see like, oh my God, things are already been done. They're already like, they were due last night and they're freaking out. Here is what I'm doing. And I'm going to extend this to everyone. So to be fair. So for modules 1 and 2, okay, you can, I don't care how you get it in, okay, as long as we get everything in, so we don't get behind, as long as we get everything in by next Wednesday. Next Wednesday is the 21st. Okay, so that's what I told them. So everybody has until July 21st to do modules 1 and 2. All right. And then after that, we'll get back on the Sunday due date, because again, we only got 7 weeks in this class. It's going to fly. All right, so there's kind of one little change there. If you want, you got a little extra space. Maybe some of you got module 1 already in. Great. You can have until Wednesday of next week to get module 2 in if you want it. All right, so there's some changes about what we did for the course, at least in the short term. We talked about last week. Let's talk about what we're doing this week. So let's go into the modules here. We'll move my picture up there. As I'm scrolling through the modules here, it reminds me to let you know that these modules are unlocked. So if you want, and I've already had some students reach out to me, two students reach out, wanting to know if they can work ahead. Absolutely, you can work ahead. We have no threaded discussions in this course. Give you guys a little bit of break from that. I know you get threaded discussions a lot in your other courses, so there's nothing really tying you in that way to posts and whatnot. So if you have maybe you got a vacation planned during module 3. If you want to get that knocked out early, totally up to you. So you can work ahead in this course. All right. Got that little info out there to you. All right, this week we're going to be doing, and you'll see there's kind of a pattern. We'll have a topic essay, we'll have a learning activity that will be more mathy oriented, and that's usually the pattern all the way through. The topic essay this week is we're going to be on the capital asset pricing model, and Again, just make sure you do what it says in here and you'll get the full points. Please, you don't have to do any more than that. Okay, I've had students who do like 5-6 pages. Just the general format of this is 2 pages. It's a good benchmark because you're doing 5 paragraphs, you're doing full paragraphs, double spaced, APA style. That's going to bring you to about 1 and 3/4 of a page. Maybe a full 2 pages. If I see a single page, it's drawing my attention immediately because it's probably, let me tell you a little secret about how we grade. You don't want to draw like too much. If you're going to do, there's things that will draw our attention. So if I know this is like, yeah, this is generally a 2-page assignment. I see 1 page, I'm like, okay, let's dig into this a little bit more. Let's find out what we're light in. I guess the moral of the story is don't draw my attention to it too much, because then I can dig around there and find some points to take off. But if you're really discussing these topics, in fairness, the topics can be entire textbooks, if not 100-page chapters. So you can squeeze out a easy 5-paragraph, 2-page double-spaced essay with 2 references. Pretty easy. So just make sure you're doing that. You're going to get full points for these topic essays. Question I get all the time is the 2 references. Absolutely use your textbook. Boom, there's 1 reference. For the rest of the course, use your textbook. A second reference could be another textbook. There's a lot of free textbooks out there, Google Scholar. Financial principles generally don't change a lot, so use one of those other textbooks out there, and then you can have your 2 references kind of at the ready for each one of your assignments. Okay, so there you go. That's a little secret about that. Let's go back into what we're doing for Module 2. So I gave you the overview of those topic essays, learning activity. So this week we are, and if any of you have the 6th edition out there, okay, there's a 7th and a 6th, obviously, in this textbook. They changed a couple of semesters ago. So occasionally, especially last time I taught this course, I had a good chunk of students who had the 6th edition. If for any reason you have the 6th edition, let me know, and we can talk about that and what some of those page numbers would look like. The page numbers are a little bit off. The problems should be spot on. They hardly changed anything except their page numbers shifted a little bit. So keep that in mind. But if anybody's got the 6th edition, text me, okay? Reach out, text me. My text number is on this page. Say, hey, Chris, I got the 6th. And I'll be like, okay, we've got a couple of students with the 6th edition, and we'll kind of muddle through that. But it won't be that hard at all, so don't worry about that. Because, again, it's virtually identical. Page number's a little off. So this week we're doing these following problems, okay? And here's another thing to please watch, okay? In the back of the chapters, the author it's a little confusing. They have problems and they have questions, okay? They're 2 completely different things. So make sure you're grabbing the correct ones. So this week are problems, okay? So you're going to make sure you flip back and go, okay, here are the problems, not the questions. And you're going to do the 10.1, 10.6, and 10.8, okay? Questions tend to be more words, like, definitions. What is the definition of time value of money or present value or whatever? There's no calculation or words. Problems tend to be more mathy and problem-like. All right, so with that, hopefully you're catching on that. Again, there's always a group of students who do the wrong set, and then I have to say, look, you did the wrong set. I can give you half credit, or you can go back in and do the right one, and I'll give you, full credit if you got the answers. So, but just make sure you're doing what it says there, and you guys will be fine. Again, show all your work. Remember, the screenshots are your best friend. All right, so that's what we're doing this week. Let's not talk about what we're doing next week. We'll just leave that off the table because I've run way, way too long here. Um, just so, and I know that the problems, the mathy stuff really throws people. So especially after this weekend, again, more students were texting me about stuff with the problems. So I decided I'm going to bring back some of my old homework help videos. Okay. So the homework help videos are down below. I shot them a couple of years and they should almost match up. I'm going to say, I'm going to give myself some wiggle room here, but they should almost match up perfectly to the questions that or the problems that we have for every week. The authors changed a few things, like they changed the names of, like they'll have a problem and it'll say, ABC Hospital, and they'll change it to XYZ Hospital, or they change the year, like 2016, and then they change it to 2021, I guess to make it more current. I have no idea, but the structure of the problems, the layout of the problems appears to be absolutely identical. They, if anything, they kind of, I'm gonna say, hate to say it, but they dumbed down some of the questions, again, some of the problems a little bit. So rather than asking, A, B, C, they'll have an A, B, C, and D is what they used to do. They kind of nixed the hardest one. So it's now just A, B, and C. So be thankful, I guess in some ways, be thankful we're doing the 7th edition because they have made them a tad bit easier and removed some of the harder, more complicated parts out of our problem sets. But my homework help videos, okay, they go over the more, there may be more detailed components of the problem. So if you're hearing me talk about, okay, and in part D, we're doing this, and you're like, wait a minute, there is no part D. It's totally cool because they've eliminated part D. So kind of keep that in mind. But they should track right along with the problems that we have. They can be they literally, I'll like walk through like the setup. So if you really need help, look at the homework help. Again, I'll walk through the setup on almost all the, I guess, difficult ones. So make your life a little bit easier. Okay, I won't give you the answers necessarily, but I'll definitely be pointing you in the right direction. So hopefully that helps. And we should have homework helps, I think, pretty much all the way through, especially for the more mathy stuff through the course. So I'll bring those back. So hopefully you find those helpful. All right, guys, that is pretty much it. Sorry for the long video. Most of these will only run 5 to 10 minutes going forward, but this is kind of our new intro to the class and everything else. If you have any questions or problems, some of you are already actively texting me, so thank you very much for that. Best way to get a hold of me is through text message. You can also email me as well. I've had a few do that. You can email me through Canvas inbox, or you can email me through our regular Outlook email. Either way, it gets to my email and I'm able to get back to you. All right, guys, that is pretty much it. Everybody have a fantastic week this week, and I will check in with you when we hit Module 3. Thanks.